And we are live. Welcome, everyone.
Yes, welcome.
So great to have
Hello.
Iole, Susan, and Jed with us. Welcome.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to this hour that we get to spend with you.
Hi, Monica. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Rebecca. Please tell if the sound is good, if you are able to see us. Good evening.
Yes, we'll wait
Let
a
us
couple
know
minutes.
where you're from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know. Where are you?
Hi.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Michelle.
How do you see their names?
Marion. You go to the chat bar, Susan.
Okay.
It's the second. Yeah.
All right.
Catherine.
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh.
Hi, Melissa. Castle Rock, Colorado. Hi, Nina. Welcome.
Janet.
I think that Rajvina is in India, so we might be even transmitting to India. Hello. Yes.
From Kentucky. I will be in Kentucky soon. Hi, Rajvarna.
You're going to
United
be
Kingdom.
Iole, when are you going to be in Kentucky? Maybe you can let everybody know that.
Yeah, in October.
Right around the corner.
Okay, as we wait for everybody to enter the room, we have 262 people already. We can hold our middle finger. This is a very good finger to hold when we are tired. It was a very long day for me. I don't know about you. Very dynamic day. And here we are to share some JIN SHIN JYUTSU and some fun with everybody.
We're on so many different time zones. It doesn't matter if this is the morning for you or this is the evening, because this simple position will give you energy in the morning and not too much energy in the evening, so you can still have a good night's sleep.
Yeah. Will help you to relax, to be able to have a good sleep.
And it helps you feel renewed. So anytime that you really need to feel that energy come up, that life energy, all you need to do is hold your middle finger and be connected to the source that sources us. Yes. Simple, easy.
Yeah, very simple. And how I hold it, I have to hold tight?
No, you don't have to hold it tight. As light as you want. If you don't have a good grasp, you can just hold it with one finger, 2 fingers, as many as you can, as lightly as you want, just easy, so that you're comfortable. And what's amazing is we have so many people on the webinar. If we're all holding it, imagine this link that goes all around the world of everybody connecting with this universal harmonizing position. Because the middle finger, you know, we often think about it as something that's disharmonious, but when we hold it with the awareness and the understanding of this art, it changes the energy of it and turns it into something that brings peace and brings harmony to the world outside, but also to the world inside. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, our inner world.
I like to think about it as holding it with a loving touch, the way you would like someone else to touch you. You never want someone else to grab your finger or use a lot of pressure. So if you think about it as just a loving, gentle touch, then you'll really be able to feel that energy.
Yeah. It's like hugging your finger, right? Okay. If you want, you can change and hold the other finger.
The other finger,
the other side. Yeah.
Okay, changing fingers.
Time. Yeah. Take your time. Just exhale.
Drop your shoulders.
Yeah.
And just take a moment. Be patient. We're giving people a couple more moments.
And
there are people from Singapore.
Oh.
Yes, we have the whole world is open to us.
Johanna, welcome.
The United Kingdom. Wow.
Malti, hi, good morning from Singapore. This is so amazing.
Yes, and we want to thank you all for taking the time to join us. And also, this webinar is going to be available if you find it that interesting. You want to tell friends, you can always see it. So it's going to be recorded and be available, so you can let anybody you know. And it's also a great way if you're a practitioner of Jin Shin Jyutsu and you want your clients just to have some things that they could see on their own to inspire them or to give them a little bit more awareness. These videos, these webinars are going to be available for you.
Hi, Terry from Scottsdale. Hi.
It's really
Today's-
wonderful, yeah, to see our friends, for people that we know, and also new people that are tuning in and connecting with us so that you can learn about this dynamic art.
Yeah, and everybody who will stay to the end will have a surprise, right?
3
Ellen?
surprises.
3 surprises.
Really?
So stay with us till the end.
Okay.
Be curious.
3 gifts for you.
Oh,
This is a special day. Today is also our the birthday of our director, David Burmeister. So we don't know if he's watching. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Happy birthday.
happy birthday, David.
Yeah.
And if anybody is having difficulty connecting, so
Yeah,
it's
just
important.
let us know if you have any
Let-
difficulty
yeah.
at all.
Yeah, you
And
have to leave the room and come back, right? Ale?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And everyone is going to receive the replay later. So there's nothing to worry about.
Great.
Let's start
Okay.
with a quick poll. We would like to know how you found out about this webinar. It's going to appear on your screen. Can you see it?
The poll?
Mm-hmm.
No?
Ah, from
No.
email.
I think
Great.
How do we go to the poll?
Okay.
Oh, I see. Yes.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Well, thank
So
you
let
all
us
for
know.
responding to the email. That's really great.
yeah.
It's a really wonderful way for us to know how to have this webinar go out to more people and make it more available. So we thank you very much for participating in the poll, so we'll know how to spread the word about our upcoming webinars.
Yes. And
Yeah,
we welcome
yeah.
all our Canadian friends. It's wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So let's
So-
start.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to begin at the beginning, and we're going to especially welcome people who are new to Jin Shin Jyutsu, and we're going to start from a place that you don't have to know anything. So the question is, what is Jin Shin Jyutsu? That we first need to know. I mean, we can hold our middle fingers, but the question comes to, what are we doing? What is this art? Okay, we'll get our slides in the correct lining.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. Okay.
And you need to press start.
Yeah, I think I'm doing that now.
Yeah.
So what you see before you now, this slide, this is the kanji that represents Jin Shin Jyutsu. And when you break this down, the 3 words that we're saying, Jin Shin Jyutsu, represents this. Oh,
Oops.
okay. Let's go back to that slide, Allie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the word Jin represents the person of awareness, compassion, and insight. So it's a word that represents our true nature, who we really are, without all of the human issues and dramas that we deal with, but our true essence, the archetype of who we are. And the word Shin represents the creator, the source of all essence of everything. So whatever word that you like to use for creator, you could substitute that. But we're talking about the energy of the whole universe that is the creation of all life and all forms. And jitsu is the word that represents the art, telling us what we are looking at, how we're expressing the creator, how we're expressing our true nature through art. And the art is an expression that can be seen in numerous ways, through music, through paintings, through dance, through nature, through architecture. But we're going to be looking inside ourselves by utilizing our own hands to be able to bring harmony to ourselves through the application of our hands on ourselves or on other people through these 26 locations to help to bring the energy into more balance and harmony. And you could think about it as like a river or traffic in a road that gets jammed up. And when this traffic gets jammed up, nothing's moving. And so these areas are utilized to be able to help to alleviate congestion or disharmony. And the result of disharmony is what we're going to be talking about today in this webinar, because we're not naturally meant to be tired or fatigued. And this is only a result of our not really knowing how to understand ourselves well enough to maintain perfect health, to be able to live the life that we're meant to, what our destiny is to be fully abundant, to have enough energy to do all the things we need to do and to live life in the most wondrous and full way that we can imagine. JIN SHIN JYUTSU that we're going to be doing some simple things tonight helps us to maintain our health and to promote it. So if you don't feel particularly healthy right now, you can still utilize it to get back into that balance place. But as you begin to utilize this art, you really awaken to who you are and what's the possibilities, and that you have in yourself the ability to change. It doesn't have to be from outside. When a doctor or someone says that you have a problem, that you are now going to be able to learn simple things that you can use to be able to transform it for yourself and to really know who you are. And that's why we often talk about JIN SHIN JYUTSU as being now know myself, the art of self-awareness. Self-awareness in a way that we can live life fully and healthy.
Well, for centuries, the keys to the treasures of JIN SHIN JYUTSU were passed down from one generation to the other, verbally, like all teachings. And eventually what happens is those teachings become lost because the world and generations stop believing in oral traditions. And in the turn of the century, Jeremiah, which you see here is a picture of him, was born to a family of medical doctors. And he didn't follow in the family tradition, but he went off to explore his life and experience many different things. And in that exploration, I'm going to give a very short background about him. He lived a wild life. In other words, living life to the fullest. And during this time, he also studied about very wise men of the past. And he studied about meditation and experienced men that experienced miracles and enlightenment. Well, in this lifestyle, he became very ill and he was taken to the medical doctors and they said that he had a terminal illness. And because of the readings that he had read and the men that he had studied about, he wanted to go up to the cabin of his family in the mountains and experience what the transition from one life on this physical plane to the next would be. And during this time, he went into quiet meditation and he asked for the solitude to be left there for 7 days and for them to return on the 8th day to see what the outcome would be. And during this time, he started utilizing mudras that he had read about. Mudras are hand postures like the one that we were using at the beginning of our webinar by holding the middle finger as an example. And his body got colder and colder and colder and hot. He felt then this heat wave of coming as if he was experiencing the moving from this world to the next world and facing death. And what happened was, all of a sudden, he came out of this furnace of fire, and everything subsided and all of his discomforts were gone. And he said it was like a terrible storm that had passed, and he felt this quietness and this calmness and this peace all over his entire body. And he said that he was going to dedicate his life to understanding what he had experienced and where it came from. So he then started to explore the readings that he had already read before, understanding about the movement of energy in his body. And he spent his entire life, he dedicated to understanding this art, which he then called JIN SHIN JYUTSU. And we're very fortunate because he dedicated this entire life, and as he studied, he would go deeper and deeper into the understanding of the movement of energy through the body, and where energy would get trapped, stuck, or stagnate, or also deviate and reverse, and coming up with the art that would help the energy to move in a harmonious way. Oops. In the late 1940s, a young woman, Mary Burmeister, journeyed to Japan. And she was in Japan and she was searching for something. And while she was there, she would teach English to many families. And at this time, in one of the families that she was had the opportunity to teach English, she was invited to a lecture. And this lecture was being given by Jeremiah. And she was a very inquisitive person and always looking to learn more and more information. And so she said that she would be delighted to attend the lecture. And this was the lecture that changed her life. She often said in her own words that it ended her searching, because she found the treasure, the keys that would open up her awareness of what life and energy was about. And so she then began to continue to study with Jeremiah, and she studied with him up until a time that she met this wonderful man from the United States who asked her if she would be his wife. And she said yes, and she journeyed back to the United States, bringing this art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU that she was learning from Jeremiah. She corresponded with him until he passed away in 1960. And she then began studying, utilizing the information that she learned from him, putting it into 2 textbooks, which she then started to share with the world. And that is how I came into learning about JIN SHIN JYUTSU, through studying with Mary, who learned from Jeremiah. She has spread this information all over the world, as we have all of our friends who are either JIN SHIN JYUTSU students or practitioners that have joined us today, as well as people that are just learning about JIN SHIN JYUTSU.
Susan?
Yes, Iole?
I think your microphone is rubbing against your clothing.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, there we go. How's that? Better?
Much better. Thank you.
And I apologize to everyone because I am using a new headset, so I'm unfamiliar with how my mic. I hope everybody was able to hear me. Now we have a slide that you see on the screen that shows you our worldwide international instructors. And we have instructors that in France, in Germany, and in Brazil. In fact, Iole and Iole are speaking to us from Brazil at this moment. We have instructor Jennifer Holmes, who is in New Zealand, and we have Sadaki, who is joined our faculty, and he is from Japan, lives in Japan. We have an instructor from Spain, and all of our instructors travel all around the world sharing this art.
We forgot to introduce ourselves, in fact.
Yes. Well, Iole, I started to introduce you by saying that you are from Brazil, right? I'll introduce myself and then I'll pass it over to you. So I'm Susan Schwartz, and you see me with blue in this picture, and it looks like I'm wearing sunglasses. Actually, it's the sun of Arizona turning my glasses into sunglasses. And I live in Baltimore, Maryland, and I have a practice in Baltimore and in Washington, D.C. Iole, tell us about you. Where do you live?
I live in Brazil, São Paulo. Yeah.
And Jed?
And Jed?
Yes, hi, my name is Jed Schwartz, and I live in Woodstock, New York, and I'm on the faculty of this wonderful organization.
And if you want to know more about us, you can go to our website where you will see the description of each one of the instructors, okay? We want to take advantage of this time to talk about Jin Shin Jyutsu, not about ourselves for now, okay? So, and how we practice Jin Shin Jyutsu? Jin Shin Jyutsu can be practiced as a self-help, as we see here. This is the first step of the main central flow. This is a sequence that has more steps. If you want to know all the steps of the main central flow, how to self-apply the main central, you have the link here. And also Ale is sharing the same link. And Ale just shared here the link to our website. And also this is the main central if you want to know more about this sequence. So, and I am already giving a good clue here, because this first step of the main central, it's very good for fatigue, to prevent fatigue, because it will help to our whole energy to recharge our battery. So to prevent tiredness, and also when we are tired, it will help us to recharge. Okay, so this is a very good first step to help us when we are in this fatigue. Right?
And along with what Iole's saying is the fact that this position is really more oriented to when you're lying down. For those of you who are new, you don't have to be standing up to be doing this. In fact, we're going to be showing you some other simple things that you can do that may be more appropriate if in just different positions. But certainly, this wouldn't be the easiest thing to do if you're feeling tired, standing up in front of a group of people and putting your hands there. It would look a little odd. But if you're standing in front of a bush like this, it might look normal, depending upon where you live.
But yeah, you can. Oh, we are not listening you. Yeah.
Sorry, I know I didn't have my speaker on. I'm sorry. But
okay.
I'm sitting at a table, and so it is very easy for me to rest my elbows on the table and place my hands on top of my head and in my forehead. And what I love about this, not only does it regenerate my energy, it also helps my mind to either be quiet or for me to get that thought that I need, that I've been looking for. So I'm resting my elbows on the table, and this is very comforting and relaxing. So I don't have to stand in front of a bush, Jed.
And Jennifer is asking how long and how often we can apply this.
Well, what I love about Jin Shin Jyutsu is you can apply it for as long as you want until you find that result that you're looking for. And you can apply it as often as you like, right? So when you're working on yourself, it's all about gaining your own awareness of yourself so that you can feel the energy moving and also the change in yourself.
And the most effective way is to put the right hand on the top of your head and the left hand between the eyebrows, right? This is the most effective way, okay? And in time, you maybe feel like a pulsation, and you wait till the pulsation to be the same in both hands. And if you don't feel the pulsation, it will work. It will help anyway. Okay. So let's go on. Yeah.
Yeah. But also in our modern life, most of us are expecting or trained that we're going to get results right away. And if you've had anything that's been in your life for a long time, it takes a while to change it. Sometimes it's repetitive use of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, but for anybody, you just need to be with it for a period of time. And so what Iole just talked about with the right hand on the top of the head and the left hand between the eyebrows, I often do this when I'm in bed, and sometimes I'll fall asleep, and I could be there for hours in this position. And that length of time really increases the result. And I've learned through the years I've been studying this that I need patience. And it's often fatigue and tiredness that we're talking about has to do with our mind. And this is a great way of slowly allowing that to be regenerated. And you'll see the results. It's not something you have to just believe in, but you'll actually have tangible changes in your own body that you'll be able to notice, or in your mind, or how you function. So our next slide, which, there we go.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
So another way, besides giving ourselves a JIN SHIN JYUTSU holds, we can also receive a JIN SHIN JYUTSU session, which is wonderful. You just lay down and receive. In many conditions, you can find help just helping yourself, but it's wonderful also to receive the session, relax and receive the session. And you see here that there are links. If you want to find someone close to you, you have here the links where you can, we have the locator in our website. Maybe there are practitioners near you for you to enjoy a session. Okay.
Iole, what I wanted to add was that when you're receiving a session, you're able to totally let go, right? It gives you that opportunity. You don't have to think about, well, how long am I holding it? Or my hand's getting tired. You just can just be. So that's a real treat to have a session from someone else. And a wonderful experience.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Susan. So let's talk about the subject of this webinar, which is tiredness, fatigue. And we learned that we have 3 stages of tiredness. It's tiredness, fatigue, and exhaustion. So here we are showing this picture just of someone who is tired. I have some indisposition, but it's something that it's not, it's transient. It's maybe because I have a lot of physical effort or mental effort. And after a good night's sleep, it disappears. So this is just tiredness, something minor, okay? The next stage is fatigue, right? And when we see fatigue, then this is something, it's tiredness, but it is something more persistent, right? And this feeling is more persistent, and I feel that I have no energy, and sometimes this is a sign that there is some kind of dysfunction in the body. Maybe it's good to check with your physician, right? But many times it's just because we are exaggerating and overusing our body and going beyond our limits, right? And then we feel a little brain fog, difficulty to focus, and not very. This is all signs that we are in fatigue, right? And you see the position here, this picture showing the person holding here the top of the head. This is the perfect self-help for fatigue. I like this picture because when you are in fatigue, this is a very good self-help. So we talk about the main central, and this is another very good one to clean our system, because we will talk about how fatigue is when our system it's not clean. Susan, you want to say something, please?
Yes. When I taught school, I noticed that many of the students, when they got tired of listening to me teach or from their exercises or from their day, would just all of a sudden put their head in their hands, their hands on top of their head, and just rest their hands there. And they didn't know they were doing JIN SHIN JYUTSU. So there are many times that we place our hands on our body where we are really helping the energy to move. And we really don't have that awareness that they are actually the self-help exercises or examples of where we can place our hands. So this will help revitalize everything, also helping, as you said, with brain freeze. And in our society, all we do is get all this stimulation coming in, and this will help us so that we don't lose that focus and consciousness that we need to exist throughout the day.
A good thing to think about, and Mary Burmeister, when she was teaching JIN SHIN JYUTSU and in her textbook, she always talks about the fact that fatigue is really a statement of disharmony. And when Iole talked about these three progressions, they're a progression of disharmony. First, you have tiredness, meaning that you have a little less energy, so you need JIN SHIN JYUTSU to help to recharge you a little bit. Your indicator on your cell phone telling you that you're losing battery. Then you start moving into fatigue. This becomes a lot more serious. You're not functioning as well. You might see more medical situations that Iole's talking about. This is a deeper disharmony. And then the third one that she mentions, which we're going to see in a moment, exhaustion, that's when there's nothing left. Your battery's empty. And that becomes a lot more serious, or you could see it as the more extreme situation of disharmony. And the more we're able to work on ourselves in simple ways to avoid us from keeping to move in this progressive disharmony, so that we can keep it at bay and kind of keep recharging and rebooting ourselves a little bit more frequently, so that we don't get into trouble.
Yeah, so the next slide showing exhaustion, right? Where, let me see here, the next slide. Yeah. So here we see the word fatigue comes from Latin, and it's fatigare, and it means to collapse. And the word exhaustion comes also from Latin. The word is esaurire, and that it means to empty oneself. So it's when the battery runs down completely. Okay, so it's like not having physical or emotional resource to get out of the situation. The person becomes more irritated, and there are complaints about muscle pains and weakness. And we can see that in the medical world, we see that the cortisol, it's very low because the adrenals are exhausted. So this is caused by a prolonged stress. And this is nowadays we listen, we hear a lot about the burnout, right? So this is the situation, as Jed was saying, that the person is really, it's overboard, right? So, and this will affect productivity at work, will affect our health, will affect our relationships, because we feel we don't have more resources, right? And fatigue somehow is the inability to function normally because of excess stimulation, prolonged stress, and a lot of garbage that we have been collecting because of our unhealthy lifestyle. Somehow we pollute our system, right? The same way we pollute our rivers and our oceans, we also pollute our inner rivers, right? And Jin Shin Jyutsu will help us to be more aware of this unhealthy lifestyle and change, besides helping to clean this pollution in our inner rivers. Okay. Jed, Susan, you have something to add? Or may I go on?
Yes, you can, but just when we look at this slide, since you've just moved to it,
okay,
slide,
go back.
that
yeah,
you know, we can pollute ourselves in so many different ways.
Yeah,
not just physically or how we eat, but it's our thinking. And we've talked in a previous webinar just about the attitudes, and the more that we are regenerating ourselves through thought, we're tuned into love, and the more you love, the more energy you have. And the other attitudes of worry, fear, and anger, and sadness and effort all drain us. They take energy away from us. So that's where we're losing our source, our power, or our connection to the source and power. And the more we open up to the harmonious aspects of who we are through love, we have endless energy. We have incredible abundance, and that's the exciting thing. So when we talk about these words, tiredness, fatigue, and exhaustion, if something comes into us, Mary would often use the analogy: if suddenly you won the lottery, someone called you, if you had some energy, you would be full of excitement for it. But when you get so sick, out of harmony, in dis-ease, which would be the complete exhaustion, Iole says burnout, you don't even have enough energy left to be excited about what's happened around you. So that becomes much more serious and requires a lot more Jin Shin Jyutsu self-help. And I certainly would recommend in those situations that you find a practitioner in your area so that you can receive treatments to be able to help get you out of that serious situation, or to help fill your well a little quicker and to stop wherever the leaks are happening in your life.
Yeah. So, and this slide is showing that it's very important to have this balance in this scale. Here we have some factors that can change this balance, can affect the balance between tiredness and vitality, right? So have a good sleeping, and sometimes we are so because of the light we have. When it is dark, we have light. This has been stimulating our brain, so it's hard to get to sleep. So to have a good routine before going to sleep, to help the body to calm down little by little, for me to tell my body, okay, Iole, it's time to go to sleep. It's not like now it's late for me. It's almost 9 here in Brazil. So it's not a good time for me to be in front of the screen, but this is an exception. Okay. So to avoid being in front of the screen with strong lights when it is time to prepare to go to sleep. Okay. Also, something that also affects this balance between vitality and tiredness, it's the food, our nourishment. Which kind of nourishment we are giving ourselves in terms of food, in terms of water, in terms of thoughts. Our food are nourishing us, or they are toxic to our system. thoughts, I maintain they are nourishing myself or they are toxic. My feelings, my relationships, they can be nourishing or they can be toxic. So they will take energy from me instead of nourish myself. Okay. Also very important in terms of our lifestyle is to move. The less I move, more tired I feel, right? And to take care of my health in general, it's very important to keep my vitality. Okay, the state of my health will somehow affect if I feel tired or not. Okay, so those are some aspects that are very important. And besides that, I also think in terms of the philosophy of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, the more I am myself, the more I, as Jed was saying about the Jin, the more I express who I am, the more authentic I am, I will be not tired. It's very tiring when I am trying to be something I am not. Right? So the more I can be who I am, more alive I will be, more vitality I will have to express myself. Susan?
I think about it's being true to ourselves. And we live in a world that many times we feel we're on a moving walkway and we don't know how to turn off, that we're always trying to get ahead. What I love about JIN SHIN JYUTSU and how I feel more vitality is when I'm in the now, when I check into myself and I know it's time to rest. What the quality of the food I'm eating, how are my relationships helping me and not creating disharmony for me, where my mind is and where if I have preoccupation with thoughts that don't provide me vitality or the source of harmony, that will tire me. And throughout our day, there's so many things of our patterns that we have created because of the world that we live in that tire us. And so I love this image of the scale for us to become more aware of what sources us into that harmony and what takes us out of that harmony. And all of the items, and all of these things that you have talked about. And by practicing JIN SHIN JYUTSU and self-help and receiving sessions, we gain more and more awareness of how to bring that harmony and how we step out of that harmony so that we can change our lives and be more who we really truly are.
Yes. And how JIN SHIN JYUTSU can help us to regain vitality. Jed, you would like to talk a little bit? Yeah?
Yes, I'd love to, because this is so easy to do and so much fun, because we're holding the area right at our groin. So if you're sitting, it's right at the crease or a little bit below that crease at your hip joint. And you just put one hand on each side. So the left hand on the left crease at the hip line, right hand on the right. We call this Safety Energy Lock 15, and what we were seeing on that previous slide, where we saw the 26 Safety Energy Lock, these are key locations to be able to help to allow the energy to flow. And this area will help to bring the energy down, to help to exhale, to let go, helps us to unwind our bodies from physical discomfort, pain that we might have, could be anywhere in the body. This simple position will help. And it represents laughter in the esoteric language. This is about joy and laughter. And you know, when you're laughing, you're full of energy. It brings more endorphins to our body. It brings more vitality, blood flow to our brain and to our whole body. In fact, it's an incredible exercise for us. And they have laughing clubs so that people can laugh and they get well. Their immune system increases. So this is a simple thing that you can do. It may bring laughter. A lot of people are very ticklish in this area. When you hold it yourself, usually it's not too ticklish. But you could do it whether you're sitting down or lying down, and even in standing. very simple, but it will help to release a lot of the physical fatigue that we have and bring more vitality on many levels. Physiologically, it brings blood flow from the tips of our toes to the top of our head and from our head back down. So it's great for our heart, for increasing our vascular system as well as our arterial system. Yoli, would you like to add something to that?
Yeah, it's oops, sorry. It's our clean, it's our drain also. So it's very good to clean our system, to open the drain and clean pollution, this pollution that we were talking about. So it will help us to exhale and let go. Susan?
That's really great, Yoli, because even when I think about the word pollution, we know that if we could stop polluting the rivers, they would clean themselves. And I think that's really what we're talking about with JIN SHIN JYUTSU. It's innate, it's within us, we all have it. So the more we work on ourselves, our body's intelligence will start to clear away the disharmony and the dis-eases that we develop over our lifetime. And the more we do it, the clearer it gets, until after a while you start to feel that your natural state is wellness. And so falling asleep in this position, very, very easy to do. Sitting, great to do when you're on a bus, a subway, you're at a meeting, you can put your hands down in that area, especially if no one's looking, so you don't have to look too suspicious as to where your hands are. But in general, if you feel happy, no one cares.
So I find that you could just put your hands in your pocket. If you put your hands and you're wearing pants in your pocket, you do not look suspicious, and you could just have your hands there all the time. And no one knows that you are revitalizing your energy and opening up your drain. So it's easy and simple. And many people keep their hands in the pocket, as I said before, and are utilizing JIN SHIN JYUTSU without an awareness.
Good. And you can also use your back pocket now.
Yeah. This is really wonderful. It's like sitting on your hands. And this will help bring all the energy up your legs. Many times that we feel tired, that we're almost dragging and we can't walk anywhere because our legs get tired. And so this will bring the energy up our back, up our legs, so that we are quietly regenerating. It helps to revitalize us and helps us to feel rested. Many times I will just sit on my hands if I'm somewhere where I feel like I'm falling asleep, like at a concert, and I want to be paying attention. And so I'll just sit on one hand and have it at my sit bone, and then I'll sit on the other hand. And this will help us feel that aliveness again. It will help us with our inhale. And our inhale is our way of receiving that breath that helps us to feel alive. And it's great for tired legs, as I started to say. So this will quietly regenerate us. Yoli, do you have something you would like to add? Jed?
Well, yeah. Well, one of the additional things that this does, it helps us to get energy from our food. So when we eat, holding this area in the back of our sit bone helps us to digest our food more thoroughly and be able to get the vitality that food gives us, so that we're really energized from that. So sometimes after you eat, have you ever noticed you get really tired? Well, I know I have, and that's because the body is putting all the blood flow into the stomach and it's doing all that work. But when I hold my sit bone, Safety Energy Lock 25, I find that I don't get tired when I eat, no matter what the food is, and I find that I have more vitality, more energy, and often when I'm doing this, I find I don't need to eat as much as I used to, because I'm deriving more nourishment from the food that I'm eating, and I feel better. And for those people who have allergies to different foods, this will help you not to have that kind of disharmonious effect, but have more vitality from anything you eat.
Yeah, and sometimes we have difficulty resting because we are very sometimes not rest. So this is a very good one when you want to calm down, to go to the silence, to go inside, and to be go to the silence, to really empty your mind. This is a very good one.
I also find it very good if I've done a lot of exercising or a lot of walking. This will help me to maintain all the endorphins that are released from exercise, so that I'm able to hold that energy, that vitality in my body. And I can lie down, and I don't have to be in the standing position, and I could just lie on my hands, whether I'm lying on the back of my hand or on the palm of my hand. It's going to energize and jumper cable and give us that same feeling of vitality. So it doesn't matter whether you use the palm or the back.
So Susan and I have the same last name because Susan's my sister, for those of you who don't know us. But as Susan was telling that story, we were walking down the Grand Canyon, and we turned around to go back up because we realized that we had gone too far. And one of the people in our group was really exhausted. They couldn't make it up. And so from behind, I held their 25s, and I didn't push them up. I just held their 25s. And after about 30 minutes, they started to take off, and they had plenty of energy to be able to go. So sometimes you might want to hold someone's behind in a positive way. Make sure you know them and you're in a safe place, or ask permission. But certainly this was incredibly effective because they weren't able to hold it themselves because they were so tired. They were holding their water, and I simply was holding this behind that. Do you remember that, Susan?
I certainly do. That's why I started to say that. Yes, it's a truly a wonderful example, and I experienced it myself. I used to work in a museum, and when I did, I would see these guards that had to stand on their feet for hours. There were no chairs. They were not permitted to sit down. And as it turns out, they would often stand with their hands on their sit bone, and they would often stand with the back of their hand there, just standing and clasping their hands together, bringing that energy up their legs and giving them vitality. So it wasn't like climbing the Grand Canyon, but it is standing up for at least 5 hours straight. So it is very useful in lots of different examples and different experiences in your life.
So our next slide is Safety Energy Lock 26, and this is easy to find on yourself. Just put your fingers in your armpit, as you see in this picture here, and give yourself a little hug. And you put your right hand in your left armpit, left hand in your right armpit. And this simple position, by exhaling, dropping your shoulders, is a universal helper to be able to give your total being all the nourishment that it needs. And it's a great thing to do in any situation when you're feeling stressed out, things aren't going right in your life, your breathing may be difficult. It has so many different functions that it can help us with, but it's great for fatigue and exhaustion.
Yes.
Yes.
And then Safety Energy Lock number 10, you see it's at the back, at the upper back, between the
Shoulder blades.
Shoulder blades. Thank you, Jad. And as it is difficult to reach in the self-help practice, sometimes it's difficult to reach the back of between the shoulder blades. So you have this other position in which you hold your arm, and the other hand will go to the thigh. Okay, your thigh.
Yeah, the inner thigh.
The inner thigh. Okay. So number 10, it's our warehouse, right? So always when you are tired, this will bring vitality, will bring enthusiasm, will bring light and color to your life. Very good for your heart. and
Of
for
filling, yeah, it's like filling your
breath.
well, as Yoli was saying, a warehouse. But you think about it, you go to the store to get what you need, and this will give you whatever you need to sustain yourself throughout the day.
You know, when you're tired and you have no vitality, you also, your voice can indicate tiredness, and people will notice. This simple example of holding the arm either at the elbow or right above the elbow and your opposite inner thigh will help all tired voices. And so you can actually feel that vitality of your voice filling your entire being. And, you know, our voice is connected to our breath. And so you will see more harmony in your breath with your exhale and your inhale with this simple positioning of your two hands.
And this position also, it's very good when you lay down. If you lay down on your side, it's so comfortable to hold like it is there in the picture, okay?
Yeah. And with what we've been talking about, you know, sometimes when people are not feeling well or they have various kinds of diseases, they have trouble breathing, or their circulation isn't flowing the way it needs to, and they're exhausted. They don't have any energy to do anything. And so giving them this simple self-help that they can do on their own can really help them to have the energy they need to be able to feel like they're not sick, that they're able to really be able to get out of that situation. And even somebody who may be sitting down before they get up, being able to hold this is a way for them to be able to have the energy to move forward in life and not to be stuck. And when you give people hope like that, give them something simple that they can do on their own, it's such an amazing thing to realize that I can help myself. So many times when people are sick in a nursing home or in a hospital or stuck at home, they don't realize that their hands are going to be available to change their situation. And it's not just medications, but the use of our hands to be able to know ourselves well enough to see how we can change where we are in life and to move ourselves where we want to be. And when people are ill in that situation, they have a lot of free time. So this is a great way to give them a simple tool to possibly give them more freedom in their life. And then our last slide.
Jed,
Yep.
I just have one thing to say. In this picture, you see that this is a photo of Yoli, and Yoli has her hands reaching over to the opposite thigh. Oftentimes, I use this. In fact, I use it every day in my life because it is so perfect for me. I will cross my legs, and in the art of JIN SHIN JYUTSU, if you cross your legs, you're not stopping energy. You're doing exactly what you need to do to help yourself. And so I will often place my in this case, it's her right leg over top of my left leg and put my hands right on that right thigh. So you can cross your legs. You do not have to have them that they're not crossed. It's most important that you're comfortable, because when you're doing self-help on yourself and you're comfortable, you'll stay there and you'll listen and you'll feel the pulsation, that you'll have the opportunity that your body will start to respond to you and you will start to feel a difference. So be comfortable in all the positions.
And we're almost at the end of our webinar, but we want to show you what we started with, the middle finger. And the middle finger is certainly a very simple thing that you can use as a general harmonizer for your total being. Just holding the middle finger the way that you see in this slide is a simple way to be able to help to get out of fatigue, out of exhaustion, out of tiredness. If you're flying, you're on a plane, this is great to do when you land. If you're staying up all night studying, if you have to work late, if you're driving, you can hold your hands on the wheel doing this, or you can put your fingers in an OK sign like that is a way to be able to do that. But whatever you do, you want to be safe, you want to be comfortable, you don't want to strain yourself, and the more you do it, the more you'll find that you're going to live a life fully energized, like charging your cell phone. You'll always have enough charge to communicate with everybody. So I'd like to have Yoli and Susan join me, as well as Ali, to to thank you and for joining us in this webinar. And here's a slide that tells you where you can connect to JIN SHIN JYUTSU Inc. Ali has already told us he's going to send, everybody's going to receive this webinar so that you'll be able to look at it as often and whenever you want.
Thank you so much for joining us and spending this hour. We hope that you will bring JIN SHIN JYUTSU into your lives and make a difference and feel the vitality of the source and the gift that we all have, this wonderful life.
We're going to be doing many more webinars, so if you have friends who you think might be interested, please have them contact us and join us when we're on the air again.
Exactly. And we have some questions, lots of thank yous. We would like to thank everyone who is here with us, 374 people live with us, and many more are going to watch the replay, we're sure. We have some gifts for those of you who stayed for our broadcast. You're going to receive, this is a sample for you of a previous issue of the Main Central, which is our newsletter with articles from the faculty and also from the community. It's a great way for you to be updated with everything that's going on with JIN SHIN JYUTSU all over the world. Isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it really is.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in classes, you can go to the website and it talks about classes. Each of us teach all over the world, and so you can find out where we're going to be.
Exactly. I know Jed and Susan are going to travel a lot this year, aren't you?
Well, we're traveling some, but there are many instructors, as you saw in that picture, so there's somebody somewhere that you can get to.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
please go to our website, check
Yeah.
out where the classes are, see if there's something or self-help classes nearby where you live, or maybe you might want to travel somewhere as a vacation and take a JIN SHIN JYUTSU class. So, or look for the practitioners that are near you so that you can experience what a session is like while you're working on yourself. Thank you.
And also self-help
Exactly.
classes that are there in our website. So if you want to learn more about the self-help, right?
Yes, true. You can learn, and there's also some books that are out there that you can get. There's JIN SHIN JYUTSU cards that explain the safety energy locks that are available online. There's so many ways that you can get the information yourself. To do it on your own, to share it with your family. It's not something that you have to, run all over the world to get. Everybody's entitled to have this in their lives, to be able to be the creator of my own awareness, to be able to really know who I am and how to maintain a life that's meant to be filled with abundance, happiness, and health.
It's our gift. It's each of our gifts to ourselves. So please take that gift.
Exactly. And the head office is also offering the second gift, which is on the screen for you, $10 off when you buy books from us. And we have many books available, both on self-help level, also for animals and for children.
Great.
So before we close, Ali, you didn't describe who you are. And we'd like you to do it.
You didn't introduce yourself, Ali.
Well, for all those of you, I'm Alexander, and I'm the social media manager. I'm the one that is behind Facebook and being in connection with all of you. I'm so glad to be here with you all and support this wonderful art spread all over the world. Thank you very much.
We are lucky to have you, Ale.
Yes, thank you so much, Ale. He made this possible, so thank you.
Yeah.
We thank you. We thank you all for tuning in, and we hope those of you who are not seeing it live that you get a lot out of this, and you certainly can reach out to us with your questions that may come up, or go to a class and you can ask questions there. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have
you.
a wonderful evening or morning or day, whatever time it is, wherever you are.
All the best. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.